George Washington, the first President of the United States, was born on February 22, 1732, in Westmoreland County, Virginia. He was the eldest son of Augustine and Mary Ball Washington. Growing up, Washington lived on his family's plantation and received an education typical for the time, learning reading, writing, and basic math. However, his formal education was cut short when his father died in 1743, forcing George to help manage the family's estate at a young age. As a teenager, Washington developed a passion for surveying. This skill was valuable in the expanding American colonies, where land boundaries often needed to be defined. At just 16, he joined a surveying expedition into the Virginia wilderness. This experience not only provided him with practical skills but also gave him a deep appreciation for the American frontier. Washington's first significant foray into military life came in 1752 when he joined the Virginia militia. 2 years later, he was appointed a lieutenant colonel and tasked with delivering a message to the French, who were encroaching on British-claimed territory in the Ohio Valley. This mission was dangerous and challenging, marking Washington's first taste of leadership and conflict. Although the mission did not prevent war, Washington's bravery and leadership were noted. The French and Indian War broke out in 1754, and Washington quickly found himself in the thick of it. He gained valuable military experience, despite suffering defeats and facing harsh conditions. One notable episode was his role in General Edward Braddock's campaign against the French in 1755. Braddock was killed, and Washington narrowly escaped death. His conduct during this campaign earned him command of the Virginia Regiment, where he defended the frontier against French and Native American attacks. In 1759, Washington married Martha Custis, a wealthy widow with significant land holdings. This marriage brought him considerable social and economic benefits, making him one of the wealthiest landowners in Virginia. The couple settled at Mount Vernon, Washington's plantation, where he focused on farming and improving agricultural techniques. He worked hard to make Mount Vernon a successful enterprise, experimenting with crop rotation and other innovative farming practices. The 1760s and 1770s were turbulent times in the American colonies. Tensions between the colonies and Great Britain were escalating due to various taxes and laws imposed by the British Parliament without colonial representation. Washington became increasingly involved in colonial politics, representing Virginia in the House of Burgesses. He was a vocal critic of British policies, particularly the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts, which imposed taxes on the colonies without their consent. In 1774, Washington was chosen as a delegate to the First Continental Congress, where representatives from the colonies gathered to discuss their grievances against Britain. The following year, the Revolutionary War began, and Washington was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. His leadership during the war was crucial to the American cause. Washington faced numerous challenges as the head of the Continental Army. His troops were often poorly equipped and outnumbered by the British forces. Despite these difficulties, Washington's strategic acumen and determination kept the revolutionary spirit alive. He led his troops through several key victories, including the surprise attack on Trenton in 1776 and the crucial victory at the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. One of Washington's most significant achievements was his winter encampment at Valley Forge in 1777 to 1778. Despite harsh conditions and severe shortages, he managed to keep his army together and instill discipline and training. This was thanks in part to the efforts of Baron von Steuben, a Prussian military officer who volunteered to help train the Continental Army. The turning point of the Revolutionary War came in 1781 with the Battle of Yorktown. Washington, in coordination with French forces, managed to trap British General Cornwallis's army, leading to Cornwallis's surrender. This victory effectively ended the war and secured American independence. The Treaty of Paris was signed in 1783, formally recognizing the United States as a sovereign nation. After the war, Washington retired to Mount Vernon, hoping to live a quiet life. However, the new nation faced significant challenges under the Articles of Confederation, prompting calls for a stronger central government. Washington's leadership was once again sought, and he presided over the Constitutional Convention in 1787, where the U.S. Constitution was drafted. In 1789, Washington was unanimously elected as the first President of the United States. His presidency set many precedents, including the establishment of a cabinet and the tradition of serving only 2 terms. Washington focused on creating a stable and functioning government, navigating foreign affairs, and dealing with domestic issues like the Whiskey Rebellion. One of his notable achievements was the signing of the Jay Treaty with Britain in 1795, which helped avoid war and stabilized relations between the two countries. Washington also emphasized the importance of national unity and warned against political parties and foreign alliances in his farewell address in 1796. Washington retired from the presidency in 1797, returning to Mount Vernon. He remained active in public affairs until his death on December 14, 1799. His passing was mourned across the nation, and he was remembered as a towering figure in American history. Washington's legacy as a military leader, statesman, and the father of his country endures to this day, symbolizing the values of leadership, integrity, and dedication to the nation. Throughout his life, George Washington exemplified the qualities of a true leader. His steadfast commitment to his country, both in times of war and peace, laid the foundation for the United States. His legacy continues to inspire future generations, reminding us of the importance of courage, perseverance, and selfless service.